Waking up Saturday morning, just skimming through Twitter, saw something that I think everybody's experienced at one point. If you've ever gotten on a bike before, you've fallen off of it. But, of course, when somebody falls off a bike, it doesn't really make news unless you are the President of the United States, which is what happened on Saturday. President Joe Biden was on a vacation. He was in Delaware, hanging out with his wife Jill, the First Lady, and on a bike ride throughout some trails. And here's some video footage that circulated widely of President Biden falling off of his bike. Check this out.
Dr. Biden, how was your anniversary?
So again, there's President Joe Biden falling off of his bike, and it's something that we've all experienced. So I want to hear from you now, 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. What about that time you fell off a bike? I've got one that's very clear in my memory. I had to have been maybe 7, 8, or 9 years old in the suburbs of St. Louis, and I'm riding my bike around the neighborhood, and I remember seeing somebody doing some yard work. And I'm riding, kind of close to the, we had, a sidewalk, but also the easement. And then you had, what do they call those? Gutters of sorts, in the road, in the neighborhood. So I was kind of very close to that gutter, riding my bike right along, and I saw somebody doing yard work. And they had an implement I'd never seen before at that age. And, I'd seen push lawnmowers, I've seen riding lawnmowers, I've seen weed eaters. But this person was using a trimmer, not a weed eater, but an actual trimmer where, it would trim along the sidewalk and the grass, making a really nice smooth line. I'd never seen that before. So I'm fixated on that, riding my bike real close to the gutter and then smash right into a mailbox. And I got up and, brushed myself off, and I'm like, okay, whew. Did anybody see that? Anybody see that? No, nobody saw that? Okay, good. We're moving right along. So I was fine, but that was one of many instances where I had fallen off my bike. What about you? 217-629-7970. Well, tell us about your embarrassing fall off the bike story. Good morning.
Hey, Greg.
Yo.
Mine was a little more serious than that. It was in Normal over by Illinois State in 1994. They had been doing some road work to put a steam pipe under to Illinois State, and they forgot that they left a 6-inch straight-up vertical piece of concrete in an area that said detour, go around this sign. When I went around the sign, my bike hit that vertical. I had my shoe clips on. I waterfalled right over the top, fractured my skull, 3 places,
no.
broke my right arm in 3 places. They had to transfer me to Peoria to intensive care, and I stayed there for a week in intensive care, and then finally got home, and then was off work for 2 months. So,
oh my gosh, that's incredible.
No memory at all. It was traumatic, I guess. I have no idea what happened, and as I went over the top, I slid, and a young man, 18 years old, ran over my bike but missed my legs.
Oh, my gosh. Now, you say you don't remember this. Were you told how fast you were going? Because, that's some substantial damage to somebody.
I was going very slow. Actually, a friend of mine was accidentally behind me watching this whole thing, and he literally got sick. Because he said, I've never seen anybody's head bounce like a basketball.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he thought the young man ran over me.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm so happy you're still with us and able to share this story. That's not an embarrassing fall off the bike story. That is a life-threatening fall off the bike story. Holy cow.
And nobody could believe I had that much. And I was not going, but just a regular pace, not a touring pace.
Right. Do you still get on the
And-
bike nowadays? I mean, has that caused you to stay away from your bicycle?
No, it did for quite a while. I bought a new bike, and now I have a very good helmet. That day I didn't wear a helmet because I was just riding to stretch out a leg I hurt the night before playing softball. So it was really just to get a little motion in my leg. But having no memory of it and the trauma that I went through at the hospital and everything,
kidding.
I was violent. I came in and out, and they were ready to drill in and take the pressure off my brain. But all of a sudden, I started forming blood clots, and they're like, "Well, we can't do that. We've got to." It was a mess.
That's harrowing. That is. Thanks for sharing that frightening story about falling off a bike. Here I am looking for embarrassing stories, but that one, wow, that's pretty incredible. I appreciate you sharing that, and glad you're back with us. Back in 1994, that guy runs into a 6-inch vertical concrete thing, part of a construction project, and oh my gosh, just that's scary stuff. The time that you fell off a bike, of course, President Joe Biden over the weekend falling off a bike, he got right back up. It was fine, but and he was stationary when he fell off. But what about you? Do you have an embarrassing fall off the bike story? Good morning.
Hello, how are you doing this morning?
Good. Yourself?
Not too shabby. When they were putting the regular road in there on Taylor to right near at South Grand, my mom asked me to go get a bag of ice, so I was riding my bicycle over to the gas station, got a bag of ice, I was coming back, and there was a big hole there. And we weren't anywhere close to it, but all of a sudden we were riding by, the ground gave way. And I went flying down into that hole. Luckily, are you still there?
I am.
I went flying down the hole, and luckily my buddy was with me. And I looked down, and it looked like a hourglass. The sand was going down this hole. They didn't know where they were digging. There was an old coal mine escapement there, like a tunnel.
Gosh.
My buddy was screaming for me to grab me so I wouldn't be sucked down there, and I got out of there, and I broke like 4 fingers, and my little pinky finger was split. It was hanging down.
Oh.
I wrapped myself up in a T-shirt, went home, showed my mom and pop. They took me to the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You should have gone to the hospital immediately and called them and said, hey, come pick me up after they're done. Oh, my gosh.
Well, this was the days before cell phones. I mean, I literally had to go all the way home.
Wow.
But, those are the days we didn't sue nobody, so it's just...
Oh, well, you probably should have. I appreciate the call. I'm looking for embarrassing bike stories. Stories when you fell off your bike and it embarrassed you. I'm not... So far, the calls we've gotten have been people getting some pretty traumatic stuff happening to them. Thankfully, that didn't happen to President Joe Biden this weekend whenever he fell off his bike. That was just somewhat embarrassing for the commander-in-chief to have to endure. Again, here is that moment, and I want to hear from you, your embarrassing fall-off-the-bike stories. Here's President Biden from over the weekend.
Dr. Biden, how was your anniversary?
Oh, man. So he falls off the bike, and you have, of course... the subsequent memes that have been generated. Here's the picture of Biden on the ground with people all around him. He seems to be sitting in place on his side on the ground. And people have taken that picture and made memes out of it. But you also have just the go-to memes of people photoshopping training wheels on his bicycle. And even this one's kind of interesting. You've seen this before. The guy riding the bike. It's a cartoon 3-frame, and he's riding the bike with a stick in his hand, and it shows Biden. With the cartoon character has Biden's head, and then the guy sticks the stick in between the spokes and the frame of the bike. And then all of a sudden he's down on the ground. That, of course, has been a popular meme that people have been sharing as well. But your embarrassing bike stories, I was hoping to get some funny stories, but no, you guys decided to share some some tragic bike stories. Thankfully, That didn't happen to President Joe Biden over the weekend. He got right back up and was talking, but still an embarrassing moment, no question. All right, now 6:22. Let's take another quick call. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, Greg. How's it going today?
Yourself? I'm good.
I can't complain yet. Hey, so it was, I don't know, November, and we had the first frost. And, of course, I was like 13, 15, give or take. And I was like, I'm going to go ride my bike. And my dad was like, don't do it. Don't be an idiot. And I'm like, no, I'll do what I want. And so,
You're
of course,
invincible. You are invincible. Yeah. I mean, nobody can tell you what to do.
Exactly. So I went out, and of course, my dad followed because he knew what was going to happen. So I got my bike out, and I was like, I'm just going to go down to the gas station. I'll be right back, blah, blah, blah. So I get about 10 feet, and there's a frost on the ground, by the way, and my bike just went out from under me, and I just landed on all fours with my bike out from under me. And all my dad could do was just laugh. And I'm like, fine, I'll walk. And I just left my bike there and just walked away.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you can walk away from it, walk away from it, right? Or get right back up on that bike. But oh man,
yeah, any crash you can walk away from is a good crash, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Well, good. I'm glad that you're safe and that as the first few stories that we got from callers, you didn't have to go to the hospital. In one particular case, have to stay in the intensive care unit after a bike accident. Whew. Thank you for sharing your stories about the times you fell off your bike as we see President Joe Biden over the weekend fell off his bike, but he got right back up. No problems there. Oh, boy. All right. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on